The Flash opened in theaters recently and was met with a resounding meh. But that wasn't for a lack of marketing effort. DCU head James Gunn called it one of the greatest comic book movies he's ever seen. Michael Keaton's Batman starred in all the ads and trailers, and it was supposedly going to be the important film that reset the DC movie universe. But this movie was plagued by troubled production, a revolving door of potential directors, and Ezra Miller, who is a PR nightmare thanks to his personal life. The Flash tried to utilize the same winning formula as No Way Home, but No Way Home made a much larger cultural impact and box office impact. It was universally loved by audiences and critics, and soared to nearly $2 billion at the box office. And keep in mind, this wasn't long after theaters reopened following COVID. The Flash, however, might not even turn a profit for Warner Brothers. While these two movies do have their share of differences, it's also hard to ignore their similarities. They both deal with multiversal travel, characters meeting variants of themselves, the main character screwing up the multiverse and having to fix it while dealing with personal loss, old villains returning, and iconic heroes from older movies returning. It's also hard to ignore the fact that DC had tried keeping up with Marvel at the movies, but hasn't had the best success with that. Suicide Squad wasn't the surprise hit Guardians of the Galaxy was, Batman v Superman wasn't well received like Civil War, and the Justice League didn't become a massive franchise like the Avengers. The Flash seems like another effort to imitate another successful Marvel movie, and while it does have its fun and engaging moments here and there, it didn't leave nearly as much of an impact as No Way Home. Here are my big 3 reasons why No Way Home worked and The Flash didn't. If you care, and judging by the box office numbers you don't, I'll be talking about heavy spoilers for The Flash, so consider this your warning. Reason number 1, the main character's arc. Tom Holland's version of Peter Parker has been loved ever since he hit the big screen in 2016's Civil War. He struck the perfect balance of nerdy and smooth, while also being the most convincing version of high school Peter Parker. This clip from Infinity War's opening night shows just how much people love him. The biggest criticism of Holland's Peter Parker is that he was propped up by other characters like Tony Stark, almost becoming a sidekick like Iron Boy. No Way Home was the perfect opportunity to change this, and it's the movie that really sent him on a journey from becoming the easygoing high school kid to a man who has to face the consequences of his actions. Nothing is sugar-coated for him in this movie. His actions led to Aunt May's death, everyone he ever knew and loved was either dead or forgot about him, but he still presses forward to be the best Spider-Man that he can be. It's a tragic but powerful character arc that truly embodies that famous quote.
She told me that with great power comes great responsibility.
The Flash also explores tragedy, and our main character trying to fix his personal problems by messing with the space-time continuum. Much like Peter Parker, Barry Allen was warned about the dangers of this, and does it anyway. But unlike Peter Parker, Barry doesn't seem to change a whole lot by the end of the film. He does have that nice scene with his mother where he finally learns to let her go, but outside of that, it doesn't feel like things are all that different by the end of the movie for him. If anything, things actually get a little better. He gets to go on a date with Iris, and his dad is let out of prison. Speaking of Barry's dad, it was messing with the past that allowed the grocery store footage to clearly confirm his alibi. So what the hell? All that talk about accepting the past and not trying to change it, yet it's still used to make his life better in the end anyway? And yeah, I know the whole George Clooney cameo shows that Barry might have screwed up that universe, but it wasn't 100% clear what that was supposed to mean, and doesn't really accomplish anything outside of going for a cheap laugh. The main point I'm trying to make is that No Way Home has a much stronger message about maturity, personal responsibility, owning up to your mistakes, and being the best version of yourself that you can be moving forward, even if your life falls apart. The Flash tries to hit some of those same beats, but in my opinion, doesn't quite hit the mark. Barry learns a lesson about dealing with his past, but doesn't seem to have any remorse about Batman and Supergirl's deaths, nor the fact that he almost wrecked the entire multiverse. Unlike Peter Parker, Barry never actually has to pay for his mistakes. Reason number 2, the side characters. Side characters are usually complementary to a story. They're maybe not the main reason that you watch a movie, but you still enjoy their additions to the story. But in the case of No Way Home and The Flash, it could be argued that the side characters were the main selling point. The moment Doc Ock arrived in the first trailer and said those famous words,
"Hello, Peter,"
fans lost their minds. Almost all of the old Spider-Man villains return, and Willem Dafoe's The Green Goblin gives his most chilling performance ever. Even though we never got official confirmation of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield until the movie actually came out, fans pretty much anticipated them to show up. And boy did they show up. My initial theory was that they'd each have a small cameo in the third act, but they ended up playing a significant role in the story. They had a major presence in the third act, and their mentorship for Holland's Peter Parker was what allowed him to get back on his feet after Aunt May's death. I was impressed with how well they were able to keep Maguire and Garfield a secret. In the modern age of the internet, it's easier than ever to have a movie spoiled. But in the case of No Way Home, the marketing did a brilliant job at hinting toward them without completely spoiling it. The hype was real and led to an incredible opening night in the theaters. Compare this to The Flash, where the marketing not only spoiled the appearance of Michael Keaton's Batman, but featured him as if he were the main character. Michael Keaton did give a nice performance in the movie, but his character in The Flash didn't have as much meaning as Tobey and Andrew's did for No Way Home. There were some half-hearted nods to the 1989 Batman.
"You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts."
And the recreation of the 1980s Tim Burton aesthetic was pretty cool. But there didn't seem to be nearly as much buzz for Keaton's Batman as Warner Brothers probably hoped, and his character ends up going out with a whimper in this movie. As for Supergirl, she wasn't bad, she was just kind of there. The actress does a fine job with what she's given, but the character is more of a tool for the story than she is an actual character. The CGI cameos of Christopher Reeve and Nicolas Cage also didn't seem to have the same impact as the filmmakers probably hoped. Most of these cameos and references just felt a little cheap and tossed in. And don't get me wrong, No Way Home is guilty of fan service too, but it does it in a way that still manages to feel natural. Things like Garfield and Holland being amazed at Tobey Maguire's organic web fluid never gets old.
You can't do that, huh?
No?
How on earth does that even...
Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. Look.
And reason number 3, the cinematic universe. It's no secret that the MCU has been miles ahead of the DCEU when it comes to both the box office and the overall critical reception. It can be argued that the MCU has faltered as of late, but they've still managed to maintain a relatively consistent universe all the way back since 2008. The DC universe, however, is all over the place. You've got Whedon cuts, Snyder cuts, Elseworlds, actors getting the boot, movies that might be a part of James Gunn's universe, but maybe not. The Flash was supposedly going to be the movie that resets the DC universe, but nothing about it really made that impression to me. This uncertainty about the DCU, and the fact that we'll probably never see Ezra Miller as the Flash again, makes it harder to be invested in this movie. It acts like it's part of some big picture storyline, but it honestly doesn't really feel that way. No Way Home, however, features a well-established MCU, and it was fun seeing it cross over with the Maguire and Garfield universes. What it also does for the big picture is that it gives Holland's Spider-Man a clean slate for a new set of movies to come. He's no longer the plucky high school kid tagging along with the Avengers. He's his own man, ready to face his own set of challenges. No Way Home brilliantly subverts expectations by turning Aunt May into Holland's Uncle Ben figure, and making us realize that the entire trilogy was basically one long origin story. It's no secret that No Way Home really resonated with fans. Holland's character arc was fantastic, the older characters were perfectly implemented, and it made everyone want more. The Flash tried to jump onto the multiversal train a bit too late, and it tried shoehorning in cameos and legacy actors that ultimately were not as well utilized as Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. What are your thoughts? Did you enjoy No Way Home, or do you feel like it's overrated? Did you enjoy The Flash, or did you think it was meh? Let me know in the comments. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy my content, it really helps me out. Ring that notification bell if you want to know about future videos coming out. Thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a good one.